Okay, microphone should be back on. I think I'm done cussing my internet and OBS for the moment. The first thing I want to do is get LightBurn started up. And let's see, when I get to that, that. That. YouTube didn't change my thumbnail. All right, can you hear me? Anybody? Anyone? Let's see. That. Facebook. That. All right, is video working? I have no idea. Hopefully it is. Right, I have chat popped out. All right, looks like it should be working. I'm not sure. We shall see. Anyone? Anyone? All right, let's see. How about we switch cameras and take a look at this laser? So here we have the side view of the NOUA Laser 6040. It is a pretty machine. I put a long USB cable on here so I can hopefully show you the whole thing. All right, so let me just double check this. We have audio, got video. Sorry, had a USB cord fail. All right, so now it should be back up and running. In the meantime, I think it'd be fun to go through all the stuff that came with the NOUA laser in the toolbox. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. This should be a good USB cable. Let's see if it works. I don't think it likes that cable either. Anyway, let me get the toolbox. So it's going to be hard for you to see the air pump that came with this machine. So I'll show you the box. But this is actually a little bit bigger than what comes with the standard CO2s that I've saw. So this one looks like it's putting out a little more air, because you can definitely tell running the machine and feeling the air under the out of the nozzle. This one is 70 liters per minute, and it is a 110 volt pump. And it's not too loud either. It seems to work pretty well. Okay, I am going to have to run and grab another cord, but first we'll go through these. All right, so we got the USB key, and it has video set up on the machine. RD Works, and a couple other items on there. But the machine does come with a LightBurn key, so you don't have to worry about RD Works. It comes with a can of lubricant. Rust removal, anti-rust lubricant. Oh, here's the toolbox. I wasn't kidding when I said it came with the toolbox. And this was all packed inside the machine. So we have a screwdriver, Phillips, and slot. Comes with a ruler and also a focal distance gauge. Let's see, let me zoom in on that. Get rid of my face. Anyway, you can see millimeter increments. Sorry, lighting is not the best. I'm not in my studio because I couldn't fit another laser in the studio. It comes with a utility knife. Comes with a full hex key set. Let's see. It does have a rotary port, and there is a rotary extension cable. It looks to be here, a little patch cable. It is wired for a 3-port rotary. Let's see, we have a spare power cable. Then there's some lens mirror cleaning solution. A primer bulb. Get your coolant flowing. Ethernet cable. 2 spare belts, and these are the drive belts for the gears on these servo motors. Those are not tiny little belts. They're pretty beefy. And then a pair of CO2 safety glasses. And I have a pair of these, this exact brand. They're pretty nice. They got a little tint to them. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. So they're not bad. A bunch of zip ties, a cleaning cloth, and let's see. Looks like a spare fuse, a relay. In the top of the toolbox, show you here, you'll see keys to open the various doors and a spare fitting. They supply you with one of these fittings to screw into the air pump, and then you just plug your line right into the quick disconnect. It was all very simple. Very easy to do. Now, I'll be right back. We'll get another USB cord. Hopefully I have better luck with this one. My Wi-Fi has been so flaky, I didn't want to take a chance of doing this wirelessly. So I decided to use the USB for Droid Cam, and it's not wanting to cooperate. Come on. Let's get some video. All right, now we're in business. So pardon the technical difficulties in West Virginia where I don't have high-speed internet. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to give you a tour of this thing. I want to put chat up here in case I missed something. Somebody has a question. You want me to show something in particular? Let's see. Thanks, Matt, for telling me you hear me on Facebook. I appreciate that. And Gio, Tyler, Matt, J-Mac, my wife Amy, in chat. Thank you. Okay, so we have the Ruida Controller. Then these two switches control outlets on the back of the unit, and it turns on the air pump. So there's air pump running, and then this controls the flow. So you have 2 flow control valves, 2 air pump switches. There is a QA checklist they ran through before shipping. So first, let's get to the front of the machine. So we just have these little triangle keys, and then the panels pop off. If I can do this and hold the phone at the same time. So what I want you to see in there is just the quality of the connections of the ball screws for the Z platform. Then there's a look at the honeycomb bed, of course. And it does come with all the knife blades you need for the knife table. Now let's open this up. I love this blue acrylic. It looks really nice. So you have the dampers to keep it from slamming open. Then in here you can see these big beefy high-speed rails. With the wide belts, and then I'll get a better shot of the servo motors on the other side. But there you can see a big pulley. And then I'm going ahead and threw a LightBurn camera on here just for this video occasion. So there's where I did my calibration. And you can see the nice nozzle, full size mirrors, air assist, and it's autofocus. I'll show you that in a bit too. So let's go back here. So here we have an SPT tube. You have your red dot combiner lens right there. Then here's the servo and gear setup. You can have some height adjustment up and down, some fine tuning that can be done if needed. Let's see, another thing in the back, pop this out, and you have your pass-through for larger items. Which is handy. All right, and then they have water in and out. We have the air pump, so you can hook up 2 different air pumps. So there's line 1. And then if you had a chiller hooked up to it, which I didn't hook my chiller up to it, that's where you hook in the alarm port. And they keep the water and air, notice it's separate from the electrical side over there. So that's a nice safety feature when compared to some other lasers that I've saw. All right, now let's get to the back and I'll show you the electrical. So here's our electrical connection. There's a main in. I have the, let's see, the chiller connection, which I'm just using a water pump, exhaust fan, air. So if you had an air compressor, you could actually plug it in there. Breakers. And then if you saw my other videos, you saw this exhaust fan. It's a 6-inch inline fan. It's similar to an AC Infinity. It pushes as much air as my AC Infinity, and it does a really nice job. So I use it exclusively on my fiber lasers. So there's plenty of panels so you can access, oops, everything. So if you're needing to make mirror adjustments, that's super easy right here. Now you see the size of the rail. And the rest of the hardware. There you can see the red dot. Right over here we have power supplies. Stepper motor. There's Z limit switch. None of this is made out of little thin cheap material. Anything that's going to see some use has some structure to it. All right, now let me see if I can get to this side. And again, you can see the hybrid servos and gears and belts. Oh, on the front there is a digital ammeter on the front of the machine. If I can get this panel off without knocking anything over, this will be a huge success. And behold the rest of the wiring. Everything's nice and neat. So there's your Ruida RDC 6445S. Your hybrid servo stepper controls. All your wiring, nice and neat. Let's see. All right, and then there's a Rotary Port. I think that covers most everything from the outside looking in. Anybody have any questions yet? Anyone? Any questions? I don't see anything on YouTube. Facebook. Don't see anything there. Very good. All right, now let's get to this. Let's do that. All right, so there we'll have LightBurn up right there. You can see what I'm doing. Alrighty. Now I have panels everywhere that I need to put back together. This is nice. It's got that blue acrylic behind the laser cut logo. Looks really classy. And blue's my favorite color, so that helps too. I really like the blue acrylic. All right. So I think this is one of the coolest features I've saw on this thing so far. So I'm going to zoom in on that. All right, so let's move the table down. Listen how quiet it is. Like there's no noise. That table is fastened down securely onto those ball screw mounts. Enough screws, it's not wiggling around. It's not going to come out a square like mine does. Get what you pay for. So I've got various test materials here. I was wondering if anybody had any suggestions on what we could do. I'll give you the list in a second. All right, so I'm going to run the autofocus cycle. This is pretty cool. It just uses the nozzle. And boom, just like that. You're in focus, which is nice because you don't have that extra piece hanging down that will get caught on any material or anything you have sticking up in the air. Let me... And in LightBurn, in the device settings, you will be able to see that I have Z-axis control enabled. I have it set to relative Z moves only. That way it'll just, no matter where the Z's set, it'll just move from that particular position if you set it to go up or down or in or out, as opposed to moving from Z0. But that's personal preference there, what you want to run. Okay. Who wants to give me a vote? You want me to try to do a pencil? With LightBurn camera, line it up. I have some acrylic, some plywood to cut, some bamboo, and some pine. Just got some various materials that you can experiment with. Any votes? Anyone? Anyone? All right, Matt votes for pencil. Let's do it. So there's LightBurn camera. You can see the overlay there. See how well I tuned this camera in. I also have some JDS leatherette that I don't have settings for, but I figured I could just guess and we could figure something out. Just to see if this, how easy or difficult it is to tune this thing. So there's our pencils. Let's get that plywood out of the way. See if we can autofocus on a pencil. I've never done this before, but we'll try it. All right. This is a 55 watt SPT tube. It seems like it cuts as well as my 90 watt. It could be better mirrors. I don't know, maybe it's better aligned than mine is. I did not touch the alignment on this. It seemed spot on, and I haven't messed with it. Haven't tuned anything. No tuning in LightBurn. I just wanted it to be as close to straight out of the box as it could be. All right, so now we're showing in focus. Let me move the head out of the way. Update our overlay. Zoom in. And let's see. Well, now, if this isn't perfectly lined up, it's not NOUA Laser's fault. It's mine for not calibrating the camera exact. But how about, looks good enough for me. I'm just going to guess it. 515 power. And a point 0.075. Why not? And I'm just going to leave the lid open and run it. So here we go. And I forgot to turn the air on. Let me do that. Impressive. It was set on fill shapes individually. So it's going letter by letter. I think I'm going to have to run it again and use a little more power. going so fast over such a small area. But I'm really impressed with the sound this machine puts out. It's hardly any. It's very quiet. It wouldn't be near as loud as if I had the panels put back on. Which I'm going to do now while that's running. Well, it looks like it was lined up pretty well. Let's see. Nah, you're never going to see that. Yep, I'm going to run this with some more power. But it's lined up. Just frame it, make sure I'm still in the right spot. That definitely dug in more. All right, there's one more panel attached. Let's see. I don't have the right lighting there. Let me try this other camera. Is that going to focus? Sorry, I just have terrible lighting in here. Does not want to focus. I'll just do this. There. Now you can see where it is on that. It was lined up right where I had it. Doesn't look too bad. Sew that down just a little bit and I think it will look good. I've never engraved a pencil on a CO2 before, so I had no idea what settings to use. All right, get that back out of the way. There, now you can see on the overlay what the pencil looked like. I have a small piece of acrylic. Somebody had mentioned acrylic. Who was that? Joe mentioned acrylic. I have this little guy I can throw in there and put something on. Matt, you want me to do another pencil? that can be done. All right, I'll run this pencil again at 350. All right, we are preheated to 350. And it looks like my alignment's off. What in the world? That's probably my LightBurn camera alignment is now off. It is. I thought I'd saved it. It was still off, but that looks much better. Yep. That's my fault with LightBurn, but there you go. 350 at 20% power. And now we have pencil settings. See, acrylic, Christmas ornament. All right. Let's delete that. I need to find a Christmas ornament real quick. Ah, great. My Google Drive isn't connected, so now I can't use a vector that I have. That means my art library is not loaded. Yeah, nothing's loaded. Well, yeah, I hit save on the camera setting. It just, I don't know what. It's just one of those days. Let's see. Yep. See, I did notice right before I went live that custom camera system was selected instead of standard, and this is a LightBurn camera, so the lens calibration is probably not exact the way it should be. So again, like I said, that's my fault. So I'm just going to get rid of the overlay, put that in the center. I'm just going to eyeball it from this chair. That looks like it's pretty close to center. We'll start from user origin, job origin in the center. I'll hit origin on the control panel. So that should set our origin. We're focused. All right, so let's change this to a line. So we'll cut it, let's see, 15, 90. And the center. $500, let's try 45, 45. Oh yeah, we could do that. I always forget about these center finder tools. Let me lower the speed here. 75. It's going way too fast. There's center finder. And I could have added that to the project as well. All right. And well, if you guys don't know, you have, oops. You have the preview tools. You can see what's going to run first. So I don't want the cut to run first. So I move the fill to the top. Or if they were all in the same layer, if they were all black, under your optimization settings, you could set inner first and then outer last. And that's that. I hate the smell of acrylic, so I'm going to close the lid. There, then we can watch it upside down on the LightBurn camera too. And again, that's my fault. On the cut settings, I did not separate those shapes. But there, it cut that ring out perfectly. Oops, let me just go over here. And I also messed up the line spacing settings, but that's cool. We can at least see where the lines are. I'm not used to using this laptop for controlling LightBurn, so using those numbers on the smaller keypad is kind of messing me up. But that's cool though. It's still a nice clean engrave, which that's all we're doing anyway, is testing it. Let's see. Might be able to see that. Definitely looks good. Nice and smooth, where it's supposed to be. What next? What else do you want to see this thing do? Cut some plywood, maybe? So there's some 3mm plywood. Uh, 55. Let's see. All right, I think I got an idea. Oh my gosh, this stupid thing. There we go. Let's do a sunflower. Everybody likes sunflowers. Let's see. Bill. Mom. All right, I'm going to run this fill at 0.5. Let's see, speed, let's try 700. And a power of 65. Fill all shapes at once. All right, that looks good. Now let's go the cut. I'm gonna try 15 and 90. Sounds good, let's try it. And that is 3 millimeters, so we could do like a 1 millimeter Z offset. So if you do positive 1 millimeter, it's going to bring it into the nozzle. If you do a negative 1 millimeter, it's going to bring it out, away from the nozzle. So just be 1. So it'll step it up 1 millimeter and then run the cut line. I'm just going to set it to start from current position and jog the head into place. And then focus. Okay, let's zoom back out. Move the camera cable. And let's see. Let me feel first. I like to check preview. Whoops, just to make sure I didn't screw something up, because anything's possible. Looks good. So this shouldn't take too long. Preview said about 3 minutes. It did not save my interval. 0.1 instead of 0.5. All right, here we go. Oh, frame slop. Need to get it over towards the center. You drop this down to 545. Sorry, I had the origin messed up. I think. It's not wanting to accept my origin for whatever reason. That'll work. All right, now I'm going to go back 7. $755.55. Why not? There we go. I cannot remember the exact price of these. They are falling, to the best of my recollection, between an Omtech and a Thunder. I think the performance is going to way surpass that of an Omtech, because you don't have to do anything to these. There's no futzing around. They should be right in line with a Thunder or better. That's just my opinion, but whatever that's worth. But I think they're priced in between Omtech and Thunder. All right, so this is the 55 water running at 700 speed and 55 power. Bring that up again. Sorry, that camera keeps wanting to autofocus. I need to turn that off. I think I got the exposure lock on, so that should keep it from switching back and forth. $600 by 400, 60/40. And at the beginning of the video where I showed the depth, there is plenty of depth to put a rotary under there. Not going to have any issues. If you pull the honeycomb bed out, you can do a dog bowl, no problem. So NOUA Laser had lasers in this country before under the Zenzing name. Now they've rebranded with NOUA Laser, NOUA USA. They filed for USA name registration, and this is the first one with this technology in the United States, which is pretty cool. And I also got the first Smart 2, which is the fiber laser with the new technology in the United States. So I got to try them both out first. It's pretty cool. But this thing's impressive. I'm going to be really sad tomorrow when it leaves. I want to keep it. I would use it almost all the time. But it does have the hybrid servos. The electric and water are separate in the back where I showed earlier. Let's see, it has the autofocus where the probe, little tiny probe doesn't touch the bed, so it's not going to break off. It uses the nozzle. Let's see, what else? I showed the pass-through. Has honeycomb bed, it has a knife table. Comes with the exhaust extraction. So you'll see I have the lid open and I don't smell anything because the way they have the ventilation set up, it's pulling it like almost across the bed and then down through the little vents that are in the back. Let me get a shot of those while it's running. You can barely see them. There are 3 holes right there. So there's the very top of the little air vents, but there's a circular pattern of those little vents, and they lead to the little back compartment and where the exhaust hose is venting out. Then I have that running where I used to have some lasers set up in here. I have their exhaust fan running a 6-inch, then I reduced it down with a 3D printed reducer. I reduced it down to 4 and then ran it outside. But you'll notice that this fan is strong enough that we're not getting any of this smoke coming back in. And that's running at a 15 speed on a 55 watt laser, and it's cutting that 3mm plywood no problem. No, this was shipped to me, and then I got to set it up and test it out, make sure it was good to go for the guys from NOUA Laser. They're picking it up tomorrow and then continuing their travels across the country to show it to some potential customers. So yeah, I'm sad. This is cutting way better than my 90 watt has ever cut. I mean, it really irritates me. I wish I had one of these. And there we have it. I mean, that's perfect. Not too charged, so it looks like I had it about the right speed. I like it. And then I did the engrave just so we could test out the little pedals and see how well they did at that speed, and they look good. eBay. I got the plywood off of eBay. 12 by 24 is a pack of like 25 sheets or 50 sheets a while back. Anything else you want to see? Let's see. Some other wood. How about that leatherette? Better clean up my trash. I don't want to leave this thing too dirty. Since I'm going to autofocus this anyway, let me put the bed down and you can see those exhaust vents in the back, the exhaust holes. There, now you get the picture. That's what's in the back. All right, this is JDS leatherette with the silver underlay. So I haven't lasered JDS leatherette with this thing before. And I don't have a settings library to go by, so we'll just have to wing it. I don't care where it's at, we can do it right in the center. First thing I'm going to do is ungroup this. I'm going to change that one to pink. And let's hide the pink and hide the yellow. See, delete that, and then show the yellow and show the pink. I'll take the pink and put it on the black layer. There we go. All right. Matt, you still here? What do you think? I think for cutting this, I ran it normally like 15 or 20 and 60 or 70, I don't remember. Let's do 70. And for the engrave, what speed? Let's see, 0.05. I'll make it a reasonable 500. Not 5,000. We could try 1,000. No, that's a spare LightBurn camera I had on my diode and took it off and was using it as a garage camera. It's the silver. So it's a wide angle 4K or 8 megapixel 120 degree lens. I have it in the LightBurn camera housing. And then I super glued magnets on the back of it so I could just stick it on there and not make any permanent holes. But they're rare earth magnets, so they're not going to go anywhere. Good enough for demonstration purposes today. Which it's possible it could have shifted too earlier. I might have bumped it. Let's see. This will help you out, Matt. Maybe. $525%. All right, we'll give it a try. All right, framing looks good. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that. It's too much. Let's see, let me back that off a little bit. Try 20. Oh, we're going to do 1,000. I'm wanting to see in focus what power we're needing out of this 55-watt laser tube. I mean, it is putting out some heat. Let's try 15% and see what happens. All right, this is 15% in 500. Getting closer. No, I did not defocus. I don't know if I answered that already. I'm going to try 12. That's looking pretty good. It's firing at 12. I'm not sure what the minimum is for this particular one. That's looking good right there. So 512% power. I know for a fact I have to run more power than that on my 90 watt. It's closer to 20. No, that's in focus after running the autofocus. That's at the point where wipe with a microfiber and some LA Awesome would make it super shiny. I need to put on my best pouty face. I have to say bye in the morning. Here, just so you know, I'm not making it up either. Yeah, let me make that a little bit bigger. There's a setting that's running right now. Get you a little different angle. Well, if you drive to West Virginia tonight, you could pick this thing up and take it home with you tomorrow. I'll even give you an in-person 1-hour training session too, on the house. Now, if that doesn't entice you to drive over here, nothing will. Have there been any questions or any comments on Facebook? I haven't even looked. I'm just trying to keep up with YouTube. Actually, the guys from NOUA Laser were in Michigan yesterday. Now we can see how the exhaust does with the lid open, running a cut on leatherette. I'm telling you, this fan that they send is as good as an AC Infinity. It moves a high volume of air. Not like the cheap little dinky ones that they mount in the back of some of these cheap tanks. I might just have to make a whole bunch of sunflower patches. That's self-stick adhesive on the back of this leatherette sheet. I don't smell anything. That definitely went through easily. Let's see. Off. I'd say that looks pretty good. Actually, in better light, it looks even better. There we go. I can see it is actually really shiny. I am super impressed. That's like the perfect setting too. 512%. All right, HTL, let's run something at 1,000. But first, we can take a look what the maximum acceleration set out on the controller. 1,000. See, 8,000, 4,000. All right, we can live with that. $1,000. Who wants to guess at a power percent? Any guesses, anybody? All right, I'm just going to take a guess at, let's try 50 and see what happens. And I'm guessing Matt would have won if this was Price is Right. He was the closest without going over. I cut it in half from 50 to 25 just to see what happens. And 25 is still too much. Now I want to see if it can cut 6 millimeters of plywood in one pass. There's 1,000 speed and 20. It's looking like 20s there. Where was that? Good job, Matt. This doesn't have like the ultimate air assist kit thing in it, so it doesn't auto adjust, but you can control the base flow. But that might be an upgrade that can be added on by them and their engineers. They build all their stuff. They're not resellers. They build it in-house. Look at that, 1,000 speed, 20 power, making quick work of that leatherette. I'm impressed. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop that. What's next? Let's see, so that's the 1,000 speed, 20% power. Awesome stuff. I don't want to forget to show anything, but also would like to try something that maybe this laser can do that others can't. I don't know. Yeah, there's more travel where it overscans. It had more inertia. It takes longer for it to slow down and longer for it to accelerate, so you have a longer, wider berth. All right, there's 6 millimeters of plywood there. Little floppy. A couple magnets will take care of that. All right. So this would be in the general vicinity. That works. All right, it's going to run autofocus again. All right, I'm not going to mess with the Z height. I'm just going to run it slow and see how well it does through 6 millimeters of plywood, just as a test. So I'm changing my Z back to 0. I'm going to run it at 7 speed and 95% power. And then I'm going to check the ammeter at 95% power and see what it's set at. I'm guessing 28 should be the max for this tube. It's not a Resi, whatever. It's not one of those, and I know those are normally about 28 is where you want them to top out at. I'm going to leave the lid open, and again we'll test and see how the fume extraction performs. Oops. Let me move the bed down so I can grab this thing. I want to show it live so it doesn't look like I'm cheating. Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding me. There's 6 millimeter plywood. When I did that big huge sign for the mall, I was running the, what was it, the 4 millimeter or 5 millimeter plywood from Lowe's, and I would have to, and I know it has glue and other crap in it, but I would still have to run it multiple times, and that's when I figured out the power supply wasn't working. Replace the power supply in the thing, and it still will not cut 6 millimeters of plywood that well. It won't do it. And that was 2 separate layers, not just one thick layer. Well, it did that. Anything else? So we did leatherette, did that. I got an idea. How about cut some 8-ounce leather? I'll do a test engrave, and then I'll do a quick cut. So one thing I was taught about engraving leather and cutting leather is to run it under water. Don't get it to where it's dripping water like a sponge and water's running off of it, but get it to where it's pliable. And it will just relax on itself and lay perfectly flat for you right on the laser bed. You don't have to worry about magnets and crap everywhere trying to hold it down, keep it from wrinkling. And it makes it easier to clean following your engrave and cut too. Because you just saw how wrinkly that old piece of leather was. This is about 8 ounce leather. Vegtan. The real stuff. All nice and dry and wrinkly. All right, so we are in focus. I don't need that. Anybody have some CO2 leather settings off the top of their head? For an engrave? If only my library were up and running. I could go look on my other computer, but I don't really feel like it. I'm going to do 350, 18%, or take advantage of the 500 and go even faster. I don't know. What's the cut setting for leather? I'll try the same as I use for the plywood, 15 and 80. $518. All right, we'll give it a try. I haven't ran leather on the CO2 in so long, I can't remember. So there goes the engraved portion. Well, I'm leaving the lid open with the fan supplied by NOUA Laser just to test how well the fan works and the extraction setup works, just so people know. But yeah, I know leather's stinky. Almost as bad as lasering stink bugs. Yeah, I forgot to change my line spacing. It's going to have a nice embossed look. The lines look clean. And I haven't messed with any timing settings in LightBurn. It's looking pretty good. That'll clean off real nice. We'll see how the cut goes. It's got one little piece. Yep, there it is. Let me rinse this off and I'll be right back. Just want to get the dirt off of it. Not dirt, soot. Get the soot off of it. All right, now let me get you close up on this. It's a nice clean cut and a nice clean engrave. Actually, that setting's not too bad at all, Matt. Not bad at all. It did a nice job. That's what I'm talking about. If you wet the leather first, it makes cleaning all the soot off a lot easier. And the edges aren't burnt to a crisp. The dampness helps protect the leather a little bit that way too. And nice clean edges. And that's not thin leather, that's thick. Here's the leather compared to the plywood. If I can find it. The leather is thicker than the plywood by a long shot. So we have leather, leatherette, and plywood. Matt is like butter. He's on a roll. All right. I think that's about all the materials that I had thought about ahead of time, unless somebody wants to see something different. But it's had no problem with acrylic, no problem with wood, no problem with leather, no problem with leatherette. It's ran them fast, accurate. 2 layers of plywood, so 6mm plywood, no problem. So, yeah, pretty good. Kydex, I can do those. What do you want me to do with the kydex? And glass. Trying to think if I have a piece of glass. Yeah, I have a sacrificial piece of glass. And then I have some of those kydex samples. Are we cutting kydex or trying to engrave kydex? Slate. We can do slate too. All right, well, I'm waiting to see what HTL has to say about the kydex. We'll run this slate. And I cannot remember CO2 slate settings because I do them all, most of them on the fiber now. I really need to get my Google Drive connected back to this computer. I don't know why it kicked it off. All right, I'll be right back. We'll get the glass and settings. So this is fun. I've never got to try out a brand new laser on the market before. I've never did a live stream testing a new laser like this. So thanks for hanging out with me, folks. I do appreciate it. Especially coming off my gallbladder surgery Friday. Yesterday I started feeling like a new person. So hopefully I can get back in the swing of lasering all kinds of cool stuff again. Let's see, glass is ran around 0.08, 330, and slate is 550. I'm hunting for my sacrificial piece of glass. Found it. Glass trivet. You can get sacrificial practice glass trivets at Dollar Tree for, you guessed it, $1. $1. All right, I'm going to run this slate at 500. On my laser, I use 50% power. On this one, I'm going to try it with lower power. Let's try 40. .08 interval. Then line, I'm not going to out. Well, let's see. And then I'm going to run that line around the outside at speed of 100. So we'll see how well it does at 100 speed when doing a line that's not straight. Well, by definition, lines are straight, but it's not a continuous straight line. There are points in the line where it changes direction. I'm sure somebody technical out there would give me a hard time about it. Stop it. Let me frame it and see where we're at. All right, we should be close there. All right, I'll zoom in for the camera. There is a light switch on the side of this unit so you can turn the lights off. I don't think I mentioned that. I might have forgot to show those switches. But anyway, you can turn the lights on and off too. So that has the overhead lights off. That's just the lights on from the laser. And the other room beside me, but that's not much to show. All right, I'm going to run this slate and we'll see how it looks. It's going to look terrible because I didn't focus. Beginner mistake. Focus. Okay, so you see where the slate's running there? If I turn the camera to the right, there's your Rotary Port. I'm going to put my glasses on while the slate's running. It's pretty reflective. Tyler, you could buy a crate of Dollar Tree trivets, I bet. I know I could. Who has some glass settings they want to throw out? I checked mine that I use with the other laser, but they're not going to work with this one. And now we'll run the line. All right, it ran that line at 100 speed. The outline. Let me turn my main lights back on. All right, just need cleaned off, but it looks really good. That line's fast and just about perfect. Actually makes me want to do something else real fast. Let's see. I'm going to run that same line and see how fast I can run it. Just for giggles. And the inside. That thing is flying. The loudest noise from this thing is the noise coming from the laser beam hitting the plywood itself. So that's pretty speedy running those lines. Don't worry about the burning and the scorching at the tips. That's just the settings. So I didn't try to fine tune for that. All right, oops, sorry. Autofocus was gentle enough to not crack the glass. All right, who had glass settings? Anyone, anyone? All right, I'm just going to take a guess. All right, then. Here we go. I'm gonna put these on too, just in case. 530, that is what I'm running. Now, the top side of these trivets are textured, so I'm running this on the bottom side, then we'll flip it over and see how it looks, like you would do acrylic. I will show you this real fast. Down here in the bottom corner, let's see. Let me make it a little bit larger. So there's your emergency stop, main power, and power for the exhaust fan. So you can turn it on and off at that switch. Power for the laser power supply, power switch. Switch for the light. PC port, USB port, Ethernet port. So that's where it is in relation to the rest of the machine. Then there's your Ruida control panel. And there's me. You don't need to see me that big, that's for sure. From the camera view, that looks pretty good. Let's see it up front, or up close. But looking at it from the front here, it looks good too. And I know there's all those methods that say put foil on the glass, put soap on the glass, wipe your dogs on the glass. I never do any of that stuff to the glass I've lasered, but I haven't lasered that much glass. So I don't know if it works or not. I won't discount it until I've tried it. So I have no opinion. HTL, what are we doing for this kydex? Type something in there for me while this is finishing up, and I'll grab a piece. Now, hopefully I didn't set the line power too high because I don't want to burn it. Yeah, it looks all right. Or crack it, not burn it. See, it's going to be hard for me to get a zoom of that. No, that's not too bad. I tell you what, I like it. The line is a little rough. That was too much power. But the rest of it is really good. So too much power on that line, but the engrave looks really nice. And then if you had this sitting on a table looking at it like this, I like it. See, there's the little feet, there's the bottom, top. Good call, Tyler. It actually has some like sparkly shine to it. I don't know if you can see that. Like right there. Almost has a metallic look to it. I'm gonna have to pick some of these up and do some Christmas decorations or Christmas patterns on here. That looked really good. Oh wait, I won't have this laser. I'll have mine. I don't probably have to struggle to get settings like that. And you know how some of these glass engravings feel rough? This is not rough at all. That's a nice smooth texture. It's rough where the line is. That's crappy. That's my fault. But it feels good where the engraving is. That's Tyler's fault. Kidney bean shaped holes, 1/2 inch long by 1/4 inch wide. Can you be a little bit more specific? I'm kidding. How about we just go with a circle and see how it cuts it? Clean the dust off the lens, not lens, nozzle. I mean, I can try to draw a kidney bean in LightBurn. Or I can just draw some random squiggles. There. Oh, that almost looks like a glass slipper. I'm terrible at drawing in LightBurn. Just don't practice it enough. All right, I don't know what speed and power to run this at to cut that. Let's just take a guess. Go. Well, there's the exact shape. Let's see. Sorry. Go ahead. You won't be on camera. That stuff is smoky. But it cut it, and it's just guessing its settings. It's very straight. Let's see if I can get this to focus. Let me just do this. No, I don't think it's going to. I can take a picture of it and send it to you. But it's a clean cut. That's probably the best you're going to get. Thanks for tuning in, Matt, and hanging out. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Yeah, it's super clean. I'll send you a picture by DM. So we have our nice sunflower collection. I have slate, leather, leatherette, 3mm plywood, glass. So all the same design. So it's easy to compare. Anything else? Any other questions about the machine or anything you want me to show you before I turn this off? If that's it, I'm going to get off of here and get something to drink and take a break, and then take this laser apart and get it ready to begin its journey away from me, unfortunately. So I guess I'll go wallow in my sorrows. Hope you guys have a good night. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think that's it. But if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Leave a comment or shoot me a DM. But yeah, I like it. Now if I can fit everything back in the toolbox, I'll be in good shape. I'm not sure of their exact itinerary city-wise, but I can find out tomorrow. Definitely. All right. Well, other than the usual crew that's here, anybody else that tunes in, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, or whatever. We'd appreciate it. Any interaction in YouTube videos helps push the algorithm. So I'm told. It's all about the algorithm, whatever. That's it. I'm out of here.